Unity. We have heard him before and we've enjoyed him. And he is a member of Unity London. And Nick, thank you so much for joining us from Panama today. We are so grateful that you have taken the time out of your day to be here in service. And Nick's title is You've Chosen Your Word for the Year. Now what? Nick is an author. He has a Sunday newsletter that's called Sunday Sunshine?
Sunday Love.
Sunday Love. Sunshine and love. I mean, who wants,
All the same.
And I have to say, I receive them and I love them. So if you're interested in doing that, I'm sure Nick will share where you can access them. So Nick, welcome. And it's a pleasure to have you back.
I don't see recording on my screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So welcome, Nick Grimshawe. The title of your talk, You've Chosen Your Word for the Year. Now what?
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And what a beautiful song we had to start off the talk. It's one of my favorite songs, and it's about feeling good. And what we're going to talk about today is how to feel good with your word. How does that sound? So I know last week that you chose a word to live by. And I don't know what word you chose. And what I want to do today is to give you some ideas of how to use that word during the year, not to lose sight of your word during the year. And last year, I'm basing a lot of what I'm talking about on my experience last year, when it was the first time I really, really worked with my word of the year. And I'll talk more about my word of the year in a little bit. But what you did by choosing your word was to set an intention. And what I heard this morning through the service is the word intention came up a lot. And that word is your intention on how to live into that word this year. So I'm going to talk about why intentions work, why resolutions don't. I'm going to give you a little of the science behind making an intention. And I am going to give you a tiny bit, just a tiny bit of homework you can take with you. Now, before I start, if you, for some reason, miss the ceremony and haven't chosen your word yet, what I would like you to do is just listen to the talk and open your mind to the universe for it to whisper your word to you. So pay attention to that if you haven't chosen your word already. Now, first of all, so you made an intention, and setting an intention is a practice of consciously choosing a guiding focus or purpose for your thoughts, actions, and energy. I just love that explanation of what an intention is. It's choosing a guiding focus or purpose for your thoughts, actions, and energy. And that's what your little word has done for you. It has set your intention for the year going forward. And you were talking about your intention for the year for Kitchener, and Cheryl was talking about last year and this year, and it was an evolution from last year into this year. It was an extension of what you were doing last year, but expanded. And that's what an intention is about. It's not about a wholesale change in your life. You're not going to have to do anything dramatic or I don't know, like pull up all your roots and move on somewhere else and totally change your personality or whatever. None of that is necessary when you choose your word. So this is not about reinventing yourself. It's an extension of who you have been in 2025 and who you are becoming as you move into 2026. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. It's about choosing who you are becoming. And I want to think about that. That word is guiding you to who you are becoming in this year. So as I'm talking, think about your word and think about how that is your guide coming up for the year. So unlike a goal which has a specific outcome in mind, like a resolution, I'm going to lose 20 pounds by March of 2026. That's a resolution. It has a specific outcome. And if at the end of March and you're on the scale and it's not showing those 20 pounds lost, then what happens? The negativity starts flowing in. Oh, I have no control. I can't do this. I don't know what's wrong with me. That's what a resolution does to you. Instead, you have this very gentle intention that is going to guide you. It's not going to make you wrong. It's not going to tell you that you're not able to do this. It's a word. It's so simple. That's your guide. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my word for this year and how it evolved from last year. So my word for this year is flourish. And just saying it lifts me up. You saw that happen. Flourish. And it's an extension of last year when my word was serene. And it is like serenity, but amplified. And that's an evolution. I'm not going to have to wholesale change everything I'm doing. I am simply following through on the path I started last year, but pushing it up a notch. Much like your intention for Kitchener this year compared to last year. It's an expansion of your theme. So for me, flourish is living an exciting life based on living simply, based on feeling serene, based on having challenges that keep me sharp and lifting me spiritually even more than last year did. So intention is about how you want to show up while life unfolds. So again, back to your word, if something, you know that things are going to happen in your life this year. That's the way of the universe. The universe will throw you curveballs. Things won't go smoothly. We all have had that experience. Bad things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. But your word is your guide. So when things start going astray, you can stop and go, oh, my word is kind, to be kinder to this year. So I'm living into that, but right now I'm not feeling that. So I need to pull myself back to this word that I'm living. Or you're an emergency or something comes up and it's a little bit of a crisis. You can look to your word to help guide you and stabilize you in the moment. So your word is serving you because you don't always have control over what's happening in your life, but you have your control of how you react to it. And your word helps you do that. It helps you go, take a breath. I'm supposed to be practicing patience. Patience is my word this year, and I'm beginning to get a little flustered. Breath. Yes, patience. And you're brought back to yourself, to who you are becoming, which is, in that case, a more patient person. So what a word does for you, what your word does for you is it orients you, it steadies you, and it keeps you on the path of the person you're becoming. So celebrate your word. Celebrate how it's going to guide you, because now you have a path forward. And that intention, that word you chose, is more of a direction. It's not a destination. It's just a direction that you're heading. Can you see the difference between that and making a bunch of goals and having to try and get to those goals? So why do resolutions fall apart? Because I had this happen to me this year. We are so inundated with information and ideas of how we should live and how we should be in the world, and it just floods into us, and we don't realize how much we are being affected by that tide of information. And one of the things that happened to me very recently was I was on a call with somebody and they said, oh, so what are your New Year's resolutions? And I went, well, I don't have any. And then right away, my brain's going, oh, maybe I should have resolution. What are they going to think of me that I didn't make resolutions? They think I'm not with it or what? So all of a sudden that mind is going, even though I know that making a resolution is not going to serve me. And the reason why they don't serve you is that they are outcome driven. You're looking for a specific outcome. And if you don't get that outcome, you know what happens. It's perfection based. So a lot of what we're pulling is, oh, I saw this, or, I need a new car because my old car doesn't look like the new ones, and they're much nicer looking, and I just need a new car. Or shaped on outside influences. This is where a lot of things happen. I'm doing a New Year's resolution because everybody else is doing one, right? Or I'm going to do this because all my friends are doing it. And if I don't do it, I'm in trouble. So you can see how resolutions don't really drive what is moving within you. They are from external sources. And that's why they fail. And by February or March, that inspiration for the resolution has become wearying and disappointing, and sometimes even failure or completely forgotten. Why intentions work is they work on a wholly different level. They're working from something inside you. And you pick that word for a reason, because it reflects where you want to go this year. So intentions arise from who you're becoming. And so I want you to think of that word as part of becoming your best self, becoming more spiritually conscious or aware, whatever you want to think of that word. And there's a lot of science behind why you should make an intention rather than a resolution. And the first thing is that your identity gives birth to your intention. So if you go look at your theme for the year, what it was last year, and your intention now, this is the identity of Unity Kitchener moving forward. And so that created your intention. Your intention then shapes your actions, because your new theme for the year is going to shape how you act. And it's almost automatic. It falls from your word to your action. And what your action does is it creates transformation in your life. And I can totally testify from my experience last year working with my word that it is, if you work with it the whole year, by the end of the year, you will feel that transformation within you. So I'm going to give you an example just for fun, to give you something to think about. This person makes a resolution. It's coming up to New Year's. They don't have a resolution yet. And so they go, oh, I know what I'm going to run a marathon. Okay, why did that person make that resolution? Well, all my friends are talking about running a marathon this year. And if I don't do the marathon, I'm going to be left out. I might lose my friends. People are going to think less of me. So all of those outcomes are not driven from something that's within you. It's all external. Okay, this person goes to the first group meeting and everybody's sitting around and they're handing out these 4 or 5 page schedules, which is looking at it and going, what's this? And they go, well, this is our training schedule. Training schedule? There's a training schedule? Yes. How long's the training schedule? 3 months. 3 months? Right? Already, you're beginning to go, no, this is not something I can do. And then they're sitting around talking about 42.2 kilometers. And you're going, what's 42.2 kilometers? Oh, that's the length of the marathon. That's how far you're going to run. I'm out of here. That's it. There's no way I can do this. The negative flows in and the resolution is gone for the year. Just gone. But when you make an intention, and I'm going to use mobility. That's my word for the year. So I make this intention that I'm going to be more mobile or more flexible during the year. And so I've got this intention. It's something I've been wanting to do all along. I want to be able to move my body more, feel better about my body. And that's kind of where you're heading for the year. What do you do? What's your first action that you can do? And they're thinking about, what can I do to be more mobile, more flexible? Oh, I know. I love music. I can turn on the music in the morning and I can dance for 5 or 10 minutes. See the difference. There is a vast difference between that and trying to run a marathon. Now, you may end up at the end of the year entering a dance competition or something like that. But that's not how you're starting. You're not starting at some goal that has a specific outcome. You're allowing the evolution of your intention to move you through the year. So I want to talk now a little bit about how to use your word. And I want to say this first of all, because this happened to me last year from my experience, and that is your word might morph a little during the year. And my example of is that last year I started the year with the word simple, living simply, keeping my life simple and calm. And as I work with that, it began not to feel quite right for me. And 3 months in, I'm going, no, this it's not feeling quite right. What was I trying to, I was trying to come up with when I set that intention? And I realized that my word really was serene. That came into my head. I was asking, my word is serene. And for the rest of the year, that's what I worked with. The word serene. It felt more like what I wanted to achieve for myself. And so you're not doing anything wrong if your intention morphs a little bit during the year. It's okay. Allow it. Let the universe guide you. One of the things I did last year, and it's easy to do because the danger is you're going to forget about your word. And when I first did this ceremony in London Unity quite a while ago, I got a little stone and it had the word, I believe it was peace. And I put the stone down and I'd look at it, it's close to my computer, and that was kind of in the way. So I put it up in the windshield of my windowsill, and then I forgot about it. And I really didn't do anything with the word. So if there's one thing I would like you to take away from this talk is to keep your word conscious within your visibility and your sight. One of those is to have it displayed somewhere where you will see it every day. I have mine in my washroom on a Post-it note like this, and it's there every morning when I go to shave. There's the word, flourish. It's like a command. You've got to go out there and flourish. So you see that every day. If you journal, put it at the top of your journal page, your word. If you have a day planner, put journal at the top, or put your word at the top of your planner. Anywhere that you use things, especially journaling, have the word there. You don't have to journal on it. It's just another way of keeping it visible. But it won't hurt for you to journal on your word and explore what that word really means to you. So what am I trying to achieve by using this word? What are some of the things I can do to live into this word? How am I going to keep it a focus during the year? Because it's 365 days. We have to focus on this word. And finally, something I started to do this year, January 2nd, with my word is once I was in bed and I finished reading, I turned out my light, and I'm laying there, I would ask, how did I flourish today? Not did I flourish today? How did I flourish? We're looking for a positive outcome. And you start listing the things you did in the day that amplified your word, or that represented your word. And I was like really surprised and blown away when I did that the first time. I couldn't believe how many things I did during the day to flourish. So those are the things that help keep it center stage for you. Now, just a little bit, I hope I'm not, just a little bit on where this science comes from. And if you know James Clear, he wrote Atomic Habits. And if you haven't read that book, I highly, highly, highly recommend it, because he talks about intention setting rather than goal setting. A long time, I used to teach goal setting. That was one of the things I did. I coached people on goal setting. And believe me, it wasn't an easy task, and it was quite complicated. And I remember once I did this, 10 pillars or something or other, and you had to come up with short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals. Anybody heard of doing this? And by the time, then for each short-term goal, there was a list of things you did. For each medium goal, and so it was so complicated that you were like tired before you even tried to do one of the things on your list, then it was rapidly forgotten. You're lucky. You just have the word. And what James Clear says is, let me see, I need my glasses for this, sorry. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. Your name is a vote for the person, or your word, sorry, is a vote for the person you want to become. Think about how powerful that is. You just have a word. You don't have lists and lists of goals and everything. You have a word. It is so simple to work with. And what James Clear based everything on is creating intentions. And he wrote about habits, how to set habits, how to take away old habits by setting intentions, and easy ones. It wasn't about doing anything huge. It was always, what can you do simply, easily, without friction? So that intention helps you build your identity. It creates momentum, and it instills consistency. And my saying is, consistency of action equals certainty of results. So if you think about that, the more consistent you are, the more certain you are of the results you will get. Think of that. That consistency is what's going to drive that word for you through the whole year and guide you and keep you on that direction that you want to go, that you've created. So why does small work? Why do we set a small intention? And it has to do with a thing called resistance. And it might seem like sort of falling off along backwards. Small is easy. Big is like, whoa. And resistance is your enemy. And it is going to try to defeat you whenever it can. And what you want to do is lower the resistance that's going to come up to doing anything. So running a marathon, just think now of this poor person who's realized they've got to train for 3 months, 3 days a week, no less. And then they're going to have to run 42.2 kilometers. Can you feel the resistance building? Okay. So that's why starting small is really important. And this is where it comes to my little bit of homework I'm giving you today. And that is, look at your word and create one action that aligns with your word that will take you less than 10 minutes to do today. That is your momentum builder, your first step in using your word, if you haven't done anything with your word yet. So what action that aligns with your word can you take today that will take less than 10 minutes? No resistance. It's a smooth sailing, and that's how your year will go. And I just want to tell you that I really lived into that word serenity. I really worked with my word last year. And by the end, there were challenges, big challenges to living serenely. But every time I began to seem to lose the thread, I would be pulled back to that word and go, that's right. I want to be serene. I want to be a little above all this turmoil that's going on. And so that's how I kind of lifted up my awareness and my growth in consciousness that happened. And by the end of the year, I could feel the change within me. I could feel how I reacted differently to the way things went on. More acceptance, more allowing, more or less worry about things, just a lifting above is all I can say. It's hard to describe, but I guarantee if you use your word, and work with it during the year, you will be amazed at the end of the year, the transformation that has taken place within you. And that's what I would love to see for all of you, for everybody here on Zoom, in Kitchener, in Ottawa. I would love to see how that word transforms you at the end of the year. And just a final note. This word is your guide for the year. Please let it guide you. Let's take that into meditation. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax. Feel your body in the chair or couch or wherever you're sitting. Just feel your body. Feel your back against the back of the chair, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap. Just become aware of all those things. And when you're ready, just close your eyes. And I want you to think of your word. Visualize that word that you've chosen to guide you this year. Love that word that you have chosen. Know that that is driven by the divine within you. Feel it pull you forward. And what I'd like you to do is imagine yourself at the end of 2026. It's New Year's Eve. You're about to enter 2027. And I want you to imagine how you feel, how your word has changed you during that year. Just look at the difference between who you are now and how that word guiding you through the year has changed you, has transformed you. And just imagine that. Just imagine the shift that you feel from having worked with your word for an entire year. And let's just meditate on that for a minute. And now, as you feel that change within you from having worked with your word for the entire year, open your heart to all the people that surround you, that everybody that is here on this Zoom call, that your wish for them is that their word transforms them as well. and you offer your presence and hold them in your heart. And show gratitude that one word can change your life. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I thank you for your presence. And I wish you all the best in 2026.
Thank you, Nick. That was beautiful.